What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. Some crazy developments have been happening with the iPhone 11, the 11 Pro, and the 11 Pro Max. Now, this article by GSM Arena, and actually I love GSM Arena a lot, shout out to them. I use their website all the time. They posted this article saying that the iPhone 11, 11 Pro, and 11 Pro Max have all their specs seemingly leaked. Now, we pretty much already knew some or most of this stuff, I'll be honest, but there are some cool, interesting things that kind of shocked me in a way. And I'll definitely tell you, I kind of do think that coming from an iPhone XS and the XS Max, I think there is quite a bit of development, I'll definitely say. I still think they could do a little bit better, but there are some cool little things they added that I kind of like in my opinion. And also some things that I wish they didn't do. Now, these are all just rumors. We really don't know if these are 100% true, but I think I'm leaning towards these being more true than not being more true. So starting off with the iPhone 11, which is going to be replacing the iPhone XR. On the front of it, we're going to have a 6.1-inch LCD display. It's going to be the same resolution, same everything as the previous model. There's not going to be any 3D touch. We already know that. We're still going to have Face ID on the front. All new iPhones are going to have the new A13 chip inside of them. The interesting thing though is that the iPhone 11 will now have an extra gig of RAM inside of it. So now we are going to have 4 gigs of RAM inside, which is going to match the iPhone XS from the previous year. So that's really, really cool. On the front, we're getting an upgraded 12 megapixel camera, and on the back, we're going to get a dual 12 megapixel camera. So that's awesome. It's going to be, I would say, somewhat similar to the XS and XS Max. So, I mean, that's really, really cool. Now, they are saying that the iPhone 11 will have bilateral wireless charging. In my opinion, I don't know if that's 100% the case. I feel like that would be more of a pro feature than just a standard base model feature. I think it would still be cool, and they would probably end up selling more AirPods or wireless charging AirPods that way. But I don't understand how they can have wireless charging but still no Apple Pencil support, which is what people are saying that the iPhone 11 is not going to have. They're saying that you cannot charge an Apple Pencil or use an Apple Pencil with the iPhone 11. Now, I don't know if that's the case or not. I feel like Apple would want all iPhones to support that because then they would be able to sell more Apple Pencils, but that's whatever. The battery is also going to get a little bit of an upgrade from 2900 mAh to 3110 mAh. So that's awesome. Now, one thing I don't like about the iPhone 11, I'll be completely honest, is that the base model will probably be at 64 gigs. And honestly, I feel like, we're in 2019, about to go to 2020. Like, how the heck do we still have 64 gigs as an option? That should not be an option. We should be on base at least 128. Apps and photos and videos are only getting bigger and bigger in terms of file size. We're getting at 4K, 60 frames, and all those things. And I feel like 64 gigs, you should stay away from that. And in terms of pricing, all iPhones are going to stay the same price. The $749 for iPhone 11, the iPhone 11 Pro for $999, and the iPhone 11 Pro Max for $1099. I really hope they don't name it the 11 Pro Max. The screen sizes on the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max will be the same, the 5.8 inch for the 11 Pro and the Max at 6.5 inches. Both OLED displays are going to be very good, but Apple will probably end up removing 3D touch even based off this article. They hint at it, and I think it's whatever. Like, if Apple wants to do it, then go for it. We'll just adapt. We adapted to 3D touch and we'll adapt out of 3D touch. So I'm not really freaking out about it too much. Again, the A13 chip on both phones, but the interesting thing is that we're going to get an additional 2 gigs of RAM from the previous model. So previously, with almost every single iPhone iteration, we've only seen an increase of 1 at a time. So going from like an iPhone 6 to the 6S, we had an additional 1 gig of RAM. Going from a 6S to a 7 Plus, we had an additional gig of RAM. And then eventually going from the iPhone 10 to the iPhone XS, we had an additional 1 gig of RAM. But now we're getting a jump to 2 gigs, so that's really cool. I really, really like that. And what's awesome is that a phone like an iPhone 11 Pro or 11 Pro Max, because it's running iOS, it will be able to handle RAM management so much better than its Android counterpart. So if you had an Android phone and an iOS phone, both at 6 gigs of RAM, most probably the iPhone or the iOS phone will end up being better at RAM management than the Android phone. So that's a really cool thing. I'm glad they're pushing up the RAM that much, if it actually is happening. You have 12 megapixel cameras on both sensors. Again, wireless charging and reverse wireless charging on both phones, so that's awesome. Now here's where GSM Arena and others are saying that they begin to differ from the iPhone 11, and that's it's going to be able to handle the Apple Pencil. So I don't know. Like I said, I feel like Apple will want all iPhones that they're going to make, if they have the reverse wireless charging feature, to be able to support the Apple Pencil. It's not going to do Apple any justice of not selling more Apple Pencils. They make a killing, I'm sure, off those. So I'm sure they want to go and sell as many of those as possible. So I feel like they're going to actually make the iPhone 11, the base model, the iPhone XR replacement, have Apple Pencil support, in my opinion. Now, the good thing is the iPhone 11 Pro and the Pro Max will actually have bigger batteries. So you'll have a 3190 mAh battery on the 11 Pro and a 3500 mAh battery on the 11 Pro Max. So all iPhones of this year will have bigger batteries than their previous models, which I love seeing. I literally love that so much. Another super interesting thing is that the base models of these phones are also a little different. So the base model of the 11 Pro is 128 gigs. The base model of the 11 Pro Max is 128 gigs as well. So they're eliminating that 64 gig option, which I'm so happy about. Like literally, I'm telling you guys, I hate 64 gig phones. So I have an iPhone 10. I use it as my main phone. And before I bought this one, I had another iPhone 10, and that was 64 gigs. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even have that bad of a time with it. I was coming from a 256 gig iPhone 7 Plus, but now that I bought the 256 gig option, like I don't feel like I'm like constantly like having like memory anxiety and all that. So that's kind of a little thing, you know. So I really hope Apple sticks to this, and I really hope they actually don't make a 64 gig option for the iPhone 11. I hope they make it like 128 or something. But so that's pretty much a synopsis, you know, of all the things that we know. I'm pretty sure these are based off, you know, what GSM Arena has said and other people have said too. I'm pretty sure this is what's going to happen. And I feel like some people might be bitter about it, but you know what? I'm not at all. I think these specs are super decent. As long as they don't increase the prices, I think we'll be okay. They're better phones than last year, so I'll give them that. You know, I actually do think I'd like these phones, but we'll see what happens when they come out. But that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any other questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.